All right, welcome back to the morning show. Still the Rise News channel. About a month ago, a group clash between a group of soldiers and members of the self-styled Eastern Security Network in Orlu, Imo State, resulted in reported shooting to death of tens of persons. Many of the victims were reported to be passerby. The incident seemed to be a culmination of several months of tensions between operatives of the so-called Eastern Security Network and army units in that area. The vigilantes had been combing the forest in that region purportedly as a security measure against herdsmen attacks on local farmers and villagers. Stakeholders in the Southeast geopolitical zone have been making representations to the governors of the 5 states in the region, demanding a full confrontation of this scourge using legislation as a weapon. To what extent has this request been honored? Joining us now to have a chat around this is Chief Emeka Diwe, President of the Association of Southeastern Town Unions. Together, we shall also take a look at how stakeholders in the South are preparing for the federal government organized geopolitical town hall meetings, the clamor for restructuring, and of course, self-help development initiatives in the face of rapidly collapsing infrastructure. It's a pleasure having you on the program, sir. I mean, how are we making sense of this, you know, in the Southeast, and when you look at what is happening? And give me your take on the Orlu incident.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
Morning, sir.
You will agree with me. So will every Nigerian agree that insecurity in Nigeria is taking a different tone. It's never been like this. And the recent development, the recent scary development is derived from the herdsmen, what do you call them, harassment in the villages, especially in the south. And it doesn't augur well for Nigeria for this kind of insecurity to continue, especially when it is unabated, when it is not checked by the correct forces. These Fulani herdsmen, coming from their background, their activities seem to have heightened since the inception of the present administration of Muhammadu Buhari. In 2018, 19th July, the ASETU made a clear presentation in an interview that the head of state needs to talk to these Fulani people. They hold him to a very high esteem. He is their national patron, the Mieti Allah. If he talks to them in their language, they will understand. They will heed to his advice. He actually needs to talk to them. They respect him a lot. His personality is very influential to the Fulanis. It is our belief that he has not sufficiently talked to them to put down their weapons. If he does, they will listen to him very well.
Well, Chief Diwe, you are president of the Association of Southeast Town Unions. The last time I heard about town unions in the East was probably on the pages of No Longer Artists, the famous Mafia Progressive Union. But it's interesting to see that you still have, town unions. But I'd like you to talk to us a little bit more about the Association of Southeast Town Unions, what your agenda is, what you have been doing, and what particularly the position of this association is with regard to the place of the Igbo man in the Nigerian arrangement, and perhaps also, by extension, the 2023 presidency. You laugh.
Well, first of all, the town union is the only identity of the Igbo man that has stood the test of time. It predates the colonial era. It cuts across all political, social, religious cleavages. It's the smallest administrative unit in Igboland. The Igbos must have this in exclusivity. You may not find out this kind of organization in any part of the country except in Igboland. They perform some administrative functions in the rural areas, especially the communities, in the grassroots. They ensure that there is peace. They ensure that there is harmony. They ensure that the little pieces of adjudications arising from the villages are taken care of. They also act as a Igbo pressure group to complement what the higher Igbo pressure groups do, like the Ohanese. It's the bedrock of even the Ohanese, even by their constitution. So the town union, the Igbos cannot do without the town union. In fact, another name for the Igbos is the town union. Anybody, every member of Igbo man is a member of his town union, a member of one town union or the other. Anybody, any Igbo man who is not a town union member, in fact, has a questionable character, has a defective character, or who is expelled from the town union. The town union acts as it drives development. That is the basic function. They drive development efforts, especially within the rural area. All the development efforts in the Igbo land, even before the Civil War, they were all driven, they were all arranged by the town union. The hospitals, the schools, the bridges, the other infrastructure, what do you call it? The organized scholarships for their people. All the 90% of development in the Igbo land is occasioned by the town union. And it is not through government, it is by self-help efforts.
Chief, well, I mean, I wanted you not just to offer a description of the town union. I wanted you to talk specifically about the Association of Southeast Town Unions and where that association stands in relation to the big issues that Nigerians are concerned about at the moment, particularly Igbo presidency and programs of that association.
The ASETU, otherwise known as Association of Southeast Town Union, it's a coalescence of the town unions in the southeast. There are about 2,152 autonomous communities in the 5 states that make up the core southeast. These communities are at that base level governed by the town union administration. Now, there is this natural evolution. Before, the town union activities were limited to the villages. But as developments, went by, there was need to organize it beyond the villages. There came the local government town union. That is to say, the town unions within a local government come together and have a body. Yet, above that, there was the state organization of the town union at state level, the 5 states. And then, lastly, by natural evolution, ASETU came in to coordinate these activities at yet a higher level to give the Igbos a collective voice at the upper level. And that is what we call the Association of Southeast Town Union, which got incorporated about 2013 and which have been doing its best to organize some of these development efforts and then defend the rights of the Igbo man at that level. come 2023 presidency, well, I want to tell you, and honestly, that the Igbos have not yet prioritized the presidency. If they do, we know certain activities that will emanate. And come to talk about this Igbo presidency. Number one, I think Nigeria needs the the president of Igbo extraction more than the Igbos need presidency of their extraction. I want to take that is just the truth. But there are there's a snag there, that's a caveat. It's not just an Igbo man becoming the president. We are talking of a credible Igbo man. If an Igbo man has to be a president of Nigeria, it must be a credible Igbo man with impeccable integrity. And by the time he combines it with the ingenuity of the Igbo man, which is genetic, no apologies, the Igbo man's ingenuity is genetic. When a credible Igbo man with this genetic disposition handles Nigeria, I want to tell you, it will never be the same story. Poverty will vanish. And when that comes, it's not a question of party. The Igbos know how to select people of credible disposition. The appropriate structures, the appropriate personalities will come together in a peculiar way. The Igbos do their things. And by the time you know it, somebody with impeccable character will emerge. Will emerge. I didn't say will emerge. And such person will do the best for Nigeria. Actually, Nigeria needs such character to remove Nigeria from the present situation it finds itself now. That's my take.
I wanted you to tell us about claims of food insecurity in the Southeast as a result of the activities of these criminal herdsmen. But we'll be taking a break soon. You can start. I'll interrupt you when it's time for the break, then we can continue with your thoughts after the break. Do go ahead. Chief Diwe, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
We'll be taking a break shortly, but I wanted you to tell us about claims of food insecurity in the Southeast. But we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll take your thoughts on that. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We're still with Chief Emeka Diwe, President of the Association of Southeast Town Unions. Before we went on a break, sir, I was asking you about claims of food insecurity in the Southeast region as a result of the activities of criminal herdsmen.
Thank you very much. In fact, that is one of the ugly consequences of these Fulani herdsmen activities. You remember that the activities involve killing, maiming, raping of women in the farms. As a result of this, people are scared from going to the farm. The result is that there is food scarcity, amounting to food insecurity. And another ugly result is that, in fact, it leads to unemployment, especially among the youths. What's next? There is youth restiveness. All these are ugly developments from one single action of the Fulani herdsmen. But come to think about it, sometimes it worries me, it worries all of us, that this activity of cattle rearing honestly, it's a private business. It's a private business like most businesses in Nigeria, which the Igbos do. It's not like a federal parastatal. It's not the NMPC. It's not some of these federal government parastatal. Yet, they seem to have the backing of the government. Why? Why? We know that to acquire land in Nigeria for a business, there are three things you need to do. Number one is either you buy the land, you rent, or lease the land. Yes.
Sorry, I need to interrupt you to take this breaking news, which will be of interest to many of our viewers. President Muhammadu Buhari has asked the Senate to confirm Abdurrashid Bawa as substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC. In a letter to Senate President Senator Ahmad Lawan, the president said he was acting in accordance to the relevant sections of the Nigerian Constitution. That's the breaking news. The president has forwarded the name of Abdurrashid Bawa, 40 years old. He holds a master's in international law and diplomacy as substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. We'll see how that plays out. And then back to you, Chief Diwe. Sorry to interrupt you. We just wanted that breaking news.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, like I was saying, cattle rearing is a private business. The Igbos do private business in other parts of the country, including the north. When they have the need to use land, they do the needful, the legally permissible needful. Either they rent the land, they lease, or they buy if they have the capacity to do that. Why is this one different? We are not against rearing cattle in our space, but the needful need to be done. If they want to rear cattle, they need to do ranching, negotiating with the landowners, acquire the lands, and then ranch. Make sure that the animals are, quarantined within a particular space, not taking them about. And let me tell you one thing. We're in the village. These cows, the animals, don't differentiate between the grass, the corn, the yam. They don't have that sense. So once they enter the farms, they eat up everything. They eat the yam, they eat the cassava, they eat the corn. And what you see is a devastated farmland. This thing cannot continue. It is highly provocative. It's very annoying. And the level they are going, when people complain, they kill, they shoot, they kill, they maim, they rape. That level of impunity is unacceptable to us. That level of impunity is unacceptable to us. And that is why you see pockets and then groups of, people taking arms, people, responding accordingly, appropriately, or rather reciprocatively to such thing. You can't come to a man's farmland and begin to abuse him, abuse his wife, abuse his farm in that manner, and he would keep quiet. Nobody does that. So some of these agitations, some of these responses are as a result of the extreme provocation which these herdsmen do. And then there's the only way, besides the Mr. President talking to his kinsmen, Kayakuri, Yayi Haka, they will understand him, and they respect him a lot. They cannot go further. Secondly, there has to be a definite legislation against this type of open grazing. In the past 3 years, we have convoked two retreats and one general summit involving all the town unions in the southeast about this, the effect, about the devastating effect of this headers about security. That shows how important it is to us. You see, no people. It is us in the grassroots, we in the villages that feel the impact more, and that is why we have quietly written to the governors, to the houses of assemblies in the 5 states.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for most of this, your insights. In just about a minute or two, I want you to talk to me on your take on what do you think about this restructuring talk that is going on around? In about a minute or two, quickly, as we wrap up. Restructuring.
Well, if you ask me, restructuring from a certain perspective is the only thing Nigeria needs. Unfortunately, I don't think that there is a template called restructuring. The restructuring Nigeria from the Igbo man's point of view might be completely different from what Igbo man feels is his template for restructuring. It's what the Yoruba man is different from what Yoruba man feels is his template for restructuring. It's also different from what the Hausa people who want restructure feel as the template for restructure. Harmonizing these different thoughts of restructure might not be too easy. May not be too easy. If you ask me, and we've discussed it at the time, it might not be too easy. However, the structure is what Nigeria needs to move ahead if we continue to remain one. We need to talk to ourselves and talk about this marriage, whether it's still viable. With the level of acrimony, with the level of insecurity, is this marriage still viable? Can it still work? If it can work, yes, we'll go ahead. If it cannot, well, there is a therapy for that. There is a solution to that.
Well, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much, Chief Emeka Diwe, for joining us on the morning show. Thank you very much, and we wish you all the best. Chief Diwe there, President of the Association of Southeast Town Union.